You've tuned into the Bellingham Podcast for the week of June 2nd, 2019. This is episode 119. From that, hey, summer feels like it's almost here, city by the Sailor Sea, I am AJ Barce.
And straight out of Suntan Lotion, I am Chris Powell. On this episode, AJ and I have never been fans of the phrase, we've always done it this way. Come on, it's 2019 and we live in the future. New innovations are everywhere, and there are new ways of doing things that haven't been around for decades. In this case, your mobile phone carrier. It's not just a big four anymore. You've got options. So open your mind, enjoy a different perspective, and learn about ways you might be able to save a puddle or a boatload of money on your monthly cell phone bill. You're listening to the Bellingham Podcast.
Or go on a 3-hour tour. Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Back in the swing of things. I got about maybe 4 minutes of sun exposure, direct sun exposure, before I'm starting to turn crispy red in my face and stuff like that. How are you doing?
I'm doing great now that I'm sipping on a nice frosty beverage that is caffeinated. Hey, Chris, where are we?
We are at 3005 Cinema Place.
the Bellingham Monstrosity.
Also known as the Bellingham Monstrosity. Normally, you'd be hearing ambient sounds of and stuff like that, but guess what, kiddies? This is summertime, and therefore we don't need to be indoors while we're recording, because, oh, by the way, we don't have thousands of dollars of equipment to record a mobile podcast.
Well, we do have thousands of dollars in equipment, but not dedicated to... Yeah, anyway.
We got a mobile setup for the ages. AJ, what the heck are you drinking?
I am drinking something I've not had before, and it's called a Grenada. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to give a tip of the hat to Kayla. She was our barista.
Thank you, Kayla.
Kayla, you're the goods. So I went in, and I have this problem with... what are these blended coffee drinks?
Blended drinks,
frappuccinos. All right,
folks?
Yeah,
the five syllable drinks.
Well, see, the thing is that ever since I've been on that kind of modified diet due to my son's allergies,
yes,
like sugar's been really reduced in my diet.
Absolutely.
And the other, I just came back on from travel because of Labor Day weekend, or not Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend, and I had one of those frappadappa-lappuccinos. I couldn't finish it. It tasted disgusting. It was like a sugar bomb with coffee flavor.
Your spleen rioted, huh?
It did. It did. So I just asked Kayla, I was like, hey, can I get a blended coffee drink that isn't a sugar bomb? And she's like, oh, yeah, I can make you one.
Hold my beer, watch this.
Seriously. So she whipped me up and I kid you not, here's the label. Yes, Chris, it's one of those labels. But
it's a Granita.
It is a Granita with whip, because I don't care if I like the whipped cream. With half vanilla flavor, split shot so that I don't bounce off the walls. There are four of these shots in this 20-some-odd ounce thing. Oat milk and, vanilla flavor. I already said that. But anyway,
You officially used your get-out-of-mocking free card with me with your drink choice. Ask me what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking?
Seltzer. Actually, I didn't feel like some coffee this afternoon. I went with the old Voss.
Voss from the Nove, yeah.
I like 6-syllable seltzer waters. This is tangerine lemongrass. Thank you very much.
Tangerine lemongrass.
So anyway.
What are we talking about, Chris?
We are talking about your phone carrier, and why are you still sticking with what you currently have, at least for most of you? But first... wanted to talk about a little bit of a news item, breaking something news, I guess. We might be talking about this more in a future episode. We always do. But anyway, my wife and I made the decision, as we are approaching our Amazon Prime annual fee renewal day, to not re-up. So this means that we still have $120 in our checking account. And we are not getting Wile E. Coyote Acme Company 2-day shipping. We're not getting access to all of those videos and music and photos and all the other trimmings. We decided, based on a lot of research and a lot of news about, there's two types of employees at Amazon. There are the web developers and the corporate office staff, and then there's the warehouse workers. And my beautiful wife really has a heart for those that are doing the warehouse work and the pressure that is involved on many levels to be able to get these products shipped in 2 days. It's not just like you walk down 10 paces down an aisle, pick it up, and then, foomp, it goes through a tube. There's a process. And the way some of these warehouse workers are treated, when some people are making billions of dollars, there's a little bit of inequity. So we're voting with our wallet. Still having an Amazon account, still straight, basic level. We're paying $5 shipping.
Sure.
We're taking 5 to 7 business days for delivery.
But that's if you don't have the minimum, what is it, $35?
25, 35, something like that. But basically, this is a check as far as our spending habits.
I dig it.
So anyway, I already talked about it. We might be talking about it more.
Yeah.
But the topic at hand, as we are recording outside Woods Coffee, Luna's Bistro, and Regal Cinemas Stadium 16, God help us, we have a live studio audience. I spy 4 pigeons in the overhang for Luna Bistro. You might hear them flapping.
They're there.
Yep, exactly. You might hear them flapping their wings as we are doing recording.
What's up, my bird homie?
Hello, pigeons. We are talking about mobile phones and why it's not all about the big 4.
Yeah, so if you go back into our archives, you'll see an episode that we talked about MVNOs, mobile virtualized network operators, and these are folks that, if you don't recall, basically use the big 4 here in the United States, which are Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, and AT&T.
Yep.
And they basically buy Costco-sized bandwidth on their networks and then resell it on a virtualized network so that they can basically not have storefronts, cut their overhead, and offer deeper discounts to their subscribers.
They're piggybacking on the big boys.
Exactly. That's the short TLDR version. You and I both use some of these MVNOs. I think we're on Cricket, and I just changed to a kind of not newcomer, but a lesser known one called US Mobile. I used to be on Ting,
yes,
and before that I was on Sprint, and then before that I was on T-Mobile, and then before that I was on AT&T. So, yeah, we've made the rounds.
I don't want to talk about my legacy involving cellular carriers. We're currently on Cricket.
Yeah, I was going to say. VoiceStream and,
1997 called. They want their mobile provider back. One thing about the big carriers, a lot of you who may be listening to us on a mobile device may see a Verizon or an AT&T or a T-Mobile or a Sprint in the upper left of your device, whether it's iPhone or Android. And you're kind of used to paying a certain amount of money per month, and for this conversation that AJ and I are going to have, we're going to just kind of take a default of a 3-phone family.
Yep.
Now you may have a number of kids and such, but let's just go with two grown-ups and a kid, or one parent and 2 kiddos.
Yeah, or a couple and then somebody that has like a mother-in-law on
there. You go.
3.
Or someone else that is on the family plan. So along with these, what I'm noticing, and don't do this, folks. Do not try this at home. Don't go to these big 4 websites because blood will shoot out your nose.
So true.
I took the bullet for you. But anyway, I went on, as before we recorded, there's a lot of funny math. Have you noticed this?
There is.
When you go to re-up your contract, or if you're not on contract, it's like, get a free phone.
Oh, wait, there's more.
And get this whole line. They have a number of distractions on their websites. In a lot of cases, they will include a subscription to Netflix, $9 a month,
or Spotify,
or Hulu, or Tidal, or even Amazon Prime.
Oh, I didn't catch that one.
Yep, it's on one of those big 4. I'm not going to name which one.
Okay.
Don't check. Just save yourself some brain space. But anyway, you see a lot of emojis in their plan packages, and you see a lot of people dancing around having fun with their phones. Name 2 people, AJ, in your life that you've seen dance around with their phone, like what you see in those advertisements.
On advertisements, the silhouetted people that used to have the Apple iPods.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
So anyway, be aware of funny math. It's kind of nice when you have an opportunity to be aware of exactly what you're paying without these hidden fees or these other types of things that may increase dramatically depending on your monthly usage. When you get a phone and they really want you to get a phone for a certain amount a month.
$1,000. Oh, wait, a month. Sorry.
Yeah, we're talking $30 to maybe $50 a month for the new shiny.
Yes.
But when you factor in that 24-month contract that you are under, we don't even talking about the early cancellation fee of few hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
That phone that you think you're only paying $1 or $1.50 a day for is actually going to cost you about $720 to over $1,000, maybe $1,200 for that quote unquote flagship phone.
Flagship phone. Drink.
And that doesn't even include your friggin' data plan. Unlimited talk and text, fine.
Which is cool.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to say, like, if you have an elder in your bunch, that's an easy ad that's affordable.
I am noticing, since I am still in a fetal position after going on these big four websites and trying to slog through all the information, they are including a lot of global roaming. So therefore, we live in a place that's right by another country.
Depends on where you travel to.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
But yes, I love that. Global roaming, asterisk, see the country list.
Yes. So where we're at, we are about 30 miles away from Rogers Wireless. Hi, Rogers in Canada.
Hi, Canada.
Thanks for your roaming fees. We in some cases, have to go to another country at times, and therefore Canadian airspace mobile carriers are not in line with American carriers so far. That may change as they try to get more incentives for people to get on contract. So that being said, if you're around $150 a month for your lines of your family, and we're using 3 as an example because it's easy for me to remember because there's 3 in my family. Let's talk about some MVNOs, and I forgot what the acronym means. So
Mobile Virtualized Network Operator.
Thank you very much. We already talked about Ting.
Yes.
They piggyback on
2, Sprint and T-Mobile.
Okay, and at the time of this recording,
they Sprint and T-Mobile are in the process of possibly being merged.
Yeah, they put a ring on it, but it's not officially.
It's not official.
Yes.
So we're referring to them as 2 separate carriers in this podcast.
Did you catch that pun and put a ring on it?
Yeah, I put a ring.
So, let me go first. My family was using Sprint for a while.
Yeah.
And we were paying about $150 a month for 3 lines and about a shared gigabyte bucket of data.
You had a gig between 3 of you?
No, it was about 10 gigs.
10 gigs. Okay.
10 gigs shared between 3 lines. Not bad. My wife doesn't use a whole lot of data. I'm all right. I do a decent amount. But then there's our daughter, who's awesome. And if you have a teenager at home or multiple teenagers, you can understand where this is going. I'd be getting notifications that during the course of the month, we all, and I'm just as guilty too because I stream music and I stream video at times, we were approaching our 10 gigabyte data cap. And anything above that would be charged $10 for an additional gigabyte of data.
Ooh.
When you're talking about Snapchat, Instagram, and FaceTiming over cellular phones, ladies and gentlemen, you're well aware of this if you got kids at home that are using your cell plans. That data quota gets chewed up really quickly. So I happened to stumble upon Cricket. You may have seen the green cutesy little mascot on some Super Bowl ads or other ads on TV. I went in there, and oh, by the way, we made the decision to buy our phones outright. We're not on leasing.
Yeah. So they're unlocked.
They're unlocked phones, and I specifically purchased unlocked SIM phones there in which I can go to Verizon, I can go to AT&T, I can go to wherever. CDMA or GSM doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I wanted that versatility. So if you're in that boat, check this out. With Cricket, my line, which I was able to keep my phone number to port it over to Cricket's because they piggyback on AT&T towers, which is kind of robust where we live. I pay $40 a month for 5 gigabytes of data. Add a second line. That's my wife's number, ported over, $30 a line for her. That's $70 for 2. Our daughter has her number ported over, $20 a month. That's 3 lines, 5 gigabytes of data per phone.
Yeah.
$90 out the door. No hidden fees, no lease charges, no croutons, no sesame seeds, no salad dressing. It's just a straight $90 charged every month.
And what's the talk and text? Unlimited?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that's kind of a standard nowadays, but in a lot of ways. And if you need to worry about international talk and text, stay tuned for a future episode where we talk about ways to communicate with folks all around the world. $90 is pretty attractive for 3 lines. And here's the thing. Should you have someone in your home that goes above their 5 gigabyte quota?
Your face, Chris.
No, it's turning red from the sun.
Oh, okay, anyway.
Your 5 gigabyte LTE speeds after 5 gigs gets throttled down to 2G. But
we still have 2G in this country?
We still do, yeah. A lot of devices still use 2G networks. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
But it's still unlimited data. There's no overage charges.
Unlimited dial-up, huh?
So it's stutterific if you're streaming video on 2G lines. So anyway, my wife and I don't have to worry about any unexpected charges in our monthly budget.
Cool.
Cricket seems to be our homie at this point. We've got our phones there, still chugging along.
Cool.
And if we were to get another phone replacement, that would be just brought in, pop in the SIM, we're off and running.
That's awesome.
So Cricket seems to be a pretty good way for what we're doing. AJ, you just signed up with US Mobile.
I did. And before we do that, something else that's very groovy and doesn't chew up your data caps, you might be listening to us on KMRE 102.3 FM.
And streaming at kmre.org. They are community powered if you haven't heard.
Yep, they are. I'm still working on it.
We're still working on it.
Anyway, so yeah, I just switched from Ting. Ting's a Canadian-based company that does cellular coverage here in the U.S., and I like them. I mean, I had nothing wrong with them, but I just started doing some math, and since we've been on Ting for I think 2-3 years now.
Yeah, it was about 2 or 3.
And my wife is
since
still
we
on
started
them.
this podcast.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with them. It's just I wanted to at least see what was out there, and that's what kind of was the impetus of this show. And full disclosure, I'm actually giving real financial data here.
Yes.
My wife and I pay about $25 for my line, and my wife paid about $30 for her line because she uses a lot more data than I do. We averages basically about 500 minutes between the two of us, texts. 100 text messages. That's the SMS green.
Wow, that's like 2 hours for some people.
Yeah, I know. Green bubbles. We know a lot of blue bubble people because we're iPhone users.
Right.
And we share typically about 500 megabytes. You heard me right, folks. 500 megabytes between the two of us.
So as you're talking about your usage,
yes,
you are a unique case.
Yes, we are. Now, full disclosure, the reason why we went down this road is the nice thing about Ting is basically you just buy different buckets. So some months were a lot heavier. Some months, like I just came back from my buddy's wedding.
Yes.
We blazed through like 1.5 gigs of stuff because we're traveling, we're looking stuff up. I have to do best man duties.
Mm-hmm.
So it fluctuates. And that's the thing that drove me to Ting. So I asked myself, is there another MVNO out there that does something similar? Well, I started looking, and I fell into looking at some of my old stomping grounds, Boost Mobile, which uses Sprint, and I think now they have T-Mobile too. I'd have to look.
May have both, depending on how the merger goes.
Yeah, exactly. I know they're on Sprint. I used to use them. They have this killer thing where it's like $35 a line, unlimited talk, text, and you get 3 gigs of data. And then I think they do the throttle thing that Cricket does.
For those of you that aren't Gorilla users like myself, and you like my wife, for example, she rarely gets over 2 gigabytes of data, streaming, whatever have you. Yeah,
for $35 a month, for 3 gigs, that's pretty skookum. I looked at them, but again, if we were to take all of the math that I just did, $25 a line and $30 a line times 12 months. On average, my wife and I spend just under $700 a year for cellular coverage. I wanted to munch that down. So if I looked at Boost, it would put us up to $840 a year.
Okay.
So that was the wrong direction.
All right.
So then I hopped over to Mint. Mint is this really cute MVNO. And I mean cute. I love their mascot. Mm-hmm. It's a green fox, okay?
Of course it is.
And it's really appealing because basically it's $15 a month.
And if you were to, and I've noticed on Amazon, if you have Prime, those were the days. It's possible that you can just type in Mint SIM.
Yep, and buy it right there.
And it's $5 to get a SIM card shipped to your phone. If you want to start over again and you want to get a number, I mean, if you want to port your number over, that's a different process. But $5 for a SIM card, that little plastic thing that pops inside your phone. And then, what, $15 a month?
$15 a month. And it gets you unlimited talk and text, sing along if you know the words, 3 gigs of 4G, and then unlimited 2G. But here is the crux. It's only T-Mobile.
Okay, well,
I mean, if that works in your area. Here, actually, right in this zone that we're at, in the Bellingham Monstrosity, this is about where T-Mobile ends in service, which you and I both live just north of this.
End of Technicolor, like that cartoon.
Exactly. And so it's no good for us, for you and I to have like T-Mobile in our neck of the woods. But if you want to take a look at Mint, $15 a month, that could save you a big chunk of cashola.
I think college students, you're going to be on a campus.
Yep.
And, school is about to end. Well, for those of you that may be going back home or wanting to break out on your own, should you be graduating, congratulations in advance. Mm-hmm. You want to start out on your own and not get killed with $100 a month cell phone bill. Take a look at Mint Mobile.
And here's the other thing too. If you have an elder in your family and they're looking at getting their first smartphone, this is a question that's been brought up to me a few times in recent months.
Sure.
to jump from unlimited talk and text and then, they're scared of paying for that data because they see the ads and the funny math. An elder doesn't want to pay $45 a month for...
They pay $20 a month for Ma Bell back in the day.
Bingo. So Mint Mobile, especially if you're in T-Mobile zone, to get an elder on board, $15 times 12, that's pretty, what is that?
About $130
a year.
Yeah.
So if you do the math between my wife and I, if we would have went to Mint, we would see $360 a year.
Check that, $180 a year. I just did math in my head while you were talking.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's cool. I won't edit that out.
Cool.
So it's Friday.
We'll do it live.
So anyway, Mint Mobile, $15 a month. Let's just throw it there. That got me in the right ballpark. Got me cheaper than Ting. That just $700 a year down to $360. But again, T-Mobile was the deal breaker.
It's your constraint.
Yep. I looked at your Cricket. For us to do Cricket, $30 a line. That would make $720 a year for me and my wife. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the right direction. And then I believe a buddy of mine, I'm going to give a shout out to Danny because I think he tuned me into them.
Hello, Danny.
Yeah. Many, many years ago, he mentioned this other carrier, and I was like, what was it? Federal Wireless, something, U.S. Mobile.
Yes.
I thought it was wireless. It's not. It's U.S. Mobile. U.S. Mobile is on Verizon and T-Mobile. So they have two networks, and these two networks usually, you don't see this on many MVNOs. I think Virgin Mobile is the only other MVNO that I know of that runs on the Verizon network. And you're looking at me. Am I correct on that?
No, I'm just getting sunburned by the sunshine that we have out here.
Good.
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay. So U.S. Mobile, I just flipped over my monthly bill, Chris.
Yes.
For, get this, 600 minutes.
Okay, that's a lot.
Okay. 300 texts.
That's average for most.
600 megabytes of data, which remember my wife and I share 500.
Sure. All right. Okay.
$18 after taxes and fees.
So $18 out the door.
Yep.
That's pretty sparse.
So based off of my wife's and I, just off of our usage, if we were to each of us get this, I'm going to use $17 because that's before taxes and fees. That's what they advertise. $17 a line, we would spend only $408 a year.
That's a significant decrease in your annual expense.
From $700 to $400.
Yeah, that's pretty good savings. So
exactly.
If you are not one who is a gobbler of streaming, video or audio, or if you don't happen to upload a metric crap ton of pictures or video snaps, this might be something for you to take a hard look at as you're approaching the summer.
But here's the other thing: is like you'd made the jest earlier in the show. Is like unlimited talk and text. That's kind of the normal song and dance, right? But again, do most people talk on the phone these days? Like,
no.
So why pay for unlimited if you don't use it? So the thing is like Cricket. You're paying $30. I'm paying half that. I don't have unlimited talk and text, but I could.
Well, but let me ask you this about U.S. Mobile.
Yeah.
So you've piqued the interest of some of our listeners.
Yes.
I can tell because I hear the brainwaves.
Which, full disclosure, I've only had U.S. Mobile for a week, so right. I'm not gonna say if they're great or bad. Full disclosure.
But what a week it's been.
Uh-huh.
Let's just say that they are one who does 3 or 4 gigs of data.
Okay.
Can you estimate how much they might be incurring?
You can. If I was connected to Wi-Fi right now, I could pull it up. Their site's really cool. It reminds me of Ting in their young days, where you pick a cute avatar. It can be somebody young, somebody middle-aged, somebody
how about a white-haired old man like me?
Yes, actually, there's an avatar that looks very similar without the glasses.
All right. Cool.
So you pick an avatar and you say, what's your usage? And I think you can get your bill down to like $5 a month for if you need, for perfect example, let's say you and I have talked about this. Phones are so passé. What if you just wanted to use an Apple smartwatch? Okay. Or an IoT, Internet of Things.
Yes.
They have plans for those.
All right.
And a lot of these MVNOs don't do that yet. So they're kind of alternative thinking with regards to how you communicate.
We like the alternative.
Exactly. So you can pick your plan. You pick what buckets you need. So for me, it was 600 minutes, 300 texts, and 600 megs of data. And if let's say you run up against that cap at you get a text message like any other carrier, like, hey, you're 10
mid-conversation.
10 minutes away from, do you want to add more? And you just pay for whatever you get. get prompted, and then you pay for what you need.
Awesome.
Novel thought.
Yes.
So you already know when you're going to get charged and how you're going to get charged because you have to opt into it.
If you only have a 13-gallon tank of gas, you don't really need to pay for 20, do you?
Nope.
That's kind of nice.
So it's kind of, yeah. And again, like if you see it in the perspective of you take what you need. You go to the smorgasbord.
Yes.
You don't get a tray and load up 6 plates of potatoes and a little cup of gravy. No.
Unless you were like me in my 20s.
I don't know why we're doing potatoes and gravy.
Why not?
I'm thinking of my friend Jess. Jess, this is for you.
Right.
So anyway, you get yourself a plate of potatoes and a cup of gravy.
Sure.
Okay.
As we're approaching our show, how much of our phone usage is done within wireless networks? And if you have Wi-Fi enabled calling on your phone, done.
Yeah.
How many times are we? I kind of ran this thought as far as when am I in my car and when I really need to use my phone? Well, if I'm in my car,
you shouldn't be using your phone, Chris.
Thanks, AJ. Appreciate it. Wait, I don't use my phone in my car that much. All right, so ask yourself, how much time are you out and about? Yes. In the nice weather, sure, understandable. If you're in Washington during 9 months out of the year, you're probably indoors.
Yeah.
In some kind of Wi-Fi signal. So
hopefully.
You may not be. Take a look at your monthly bill and see how many gigabytes of data you're actually chewing up.
Yeah.
You might be surprised. It might lead you to think, what if I was to save $40-50 a month? Hey, that $600 a year you might be able to save by going with one of these MVNOs. You got to hear from us at the Bellingham Podcast, y'all. All right.
But so anyway, I just wanted to throw these MVNOs out kind of rapid fire. And again, I'm going to do mine off of prices for 2 lines just because my little doesn't need a cell phone right now.
Yes.
So for 2 lines and the usage that my wife and I use, which is, again, we're a little bit unicorn status, but we're paying for what we would use,
yes.
Not doing the unlimited thing.
Right.
So on Ting, it was $25 and $30. Which gave us $660 a year.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Mobile, if I get my wife shifted over, it'll be $408 a year. Cricket would have been $720 a year. Mint Mobile, I really wish I could make work, but I can't do the T-Mobile thing where I live. $360 a year.
All right.
Google Fi. Remember we talked about this?
Yeah, I remember Google Fi.
Google Fi, $720 a year.
Sure, that seems to be a going rate.
Yeah, that's the 30.
Factor $60 a month.
Yep, $60 a month for one unlimited talk, text, and 1 gig.
Sure.
Of data.
That goes by in a week for a high school student.
Boost Mobile, $35 and $35 for unlimited and 3 gigs of 4G LTE goodness. That's $840 a year. Virgin Mobile, $20 more. That's $860 a year. They give you 5 gigs of LTE goodness. AT&T Go, I don't have any numbers for because I got lost on their site.
Sure.
And also this other one that you might see at like the Walmart and even some gas stations, Net 10, which is a track phone company I stumbled on by accident.
God bless a track phone.
$480 a year,
sure,
which is basically $20 a line, unlimited talk, text, and that 1 gig of high speed, then dumbed down to 2G. The reason why I want to throw them in the notes, they're the only MVNO that I found that do all 4 of the big 4.
So it works on all of them. Yep, track phones. I could totally see how that would be the all-star.
Yeah. So if you're listening to me and you're like, wow, you just rattled a whole bunch of numbers under $1,000 a year, take a look at these. They're all in the show notes.
Sure. Drink.
And, the great thing is a lot of these, it's a whopping $5 just to get a SIM. A lot of these MVNOs will give you basically like free 20 minutes, 20 texts, and 20 megs of data just so that you can throw this into your unlocked phone and try them out. See if it even works at your house.
Yep.
Try it before you buy. And a lot of the times, these MVNOs, if you go on their website direct, not through Amazon like you recommended, a lot of the times they'll give you a discount code where they'll basically give you a free SIM and that free service just to try it out.
They want your business.
So try them out. You got really not much to lose other than, cutting some fat off of that cellular bill.
And with this SIM, you might run, we got the current phone number that you have, and with this other new SIM that might occur, it's kind of like test driving a vehicle. You don't have to make that decision where you're jumping into the new phone pool. That was amazingly entertaining that y'all could not see. I'm watching as I'm trying to talk seriously about not having a risk. Stop it, AJ. Stop it.
We're getting close to the end of the show because I'm at the end of my coffee.
He's slurping his drink as I'm trying to talk about why you should test drive some of these MVNOs.
You missed me.
Golly,
Chris.
we're professional. We should wrap the show up.
That wraps up for this 119th edition of the Bellingham Podcast. Thank you again so much for listening to us, rating us, reviewing us, wherever you like to get your podcast.
Remember, or your granita.
Or your granita. Thank you, Kayla. If you're in the Bellingham area, you might be listening to us streaming or over the air on Camry 102.3 FM.
Community powered and streaming at kmre.org.
What Chris said.
That's right.
And on that note, get some sunscreen, Chris. I'm AJ Barsay.
Yeah, you heard it here first. I'm Chris Bell. Thanks once again for joining us on the Bellingham Podcast. Stop it! I got misophonia. That is not something I like to hear.